First of all, don't listen to all the reviews that you see, especially when some of those reviews made the game seem worse than it actually is. I mean, don't get me wrong, the game has its flaws, and whenever you're playing through it, you can clearly see those flaws. But for me, that didn't bring down my gameplay in any kind of way. Except for some of the bosses, but we'll talk about those later. For now, let's talk about the things I really love about the game. Starting with the music. Okay, look, I will admit, the soundtrack for this game was pretty hit or miss. Some tracks were really good, meanwhile some were just boring and didn't really catch my attention. They also kinda reminded me of another Sonic game that kinda looks like this, but I can't really put my finger on it. Either way, I love this game's soundtrack, despite the few that may stand out. Some of my favorites have to be Sand Sanctuary and the final boss, which, yeah, there's gonna be spoilers in this video probably-ish. Yeah. Anyway, on to the next subject, the levels. Whenever I first picked up this game and started playing, I was really surprised with this game's levels, considering that Sega didn't reuse any existing levels that we already had. Sure, the themes were still there. You got the carnival, the starting level. Reminds me a lot of Green Hill, but different enough. But these were some really creative levels. I love some of the gimmicks. For example, Cyber Station, which is on the screen right now. I really loved the pixel thingies and the little jellyfish mechanic and stuff like that. Overall, I don't really have much to say about the levels. I really liked them, and it really makes the replayability really good for me. Next up is... oh boy. The bosses. Where do I even start with the bosses? I'm gonna be honest, I liked the bosses. The only ones I really actually enjoyed were the Cyber Station boss, the final boss, well, after I replayed it, because that was kind of stupid, and a few others which I don't remember the name of. Whether that's a good thing is up to you. But something you need to know while going into this game and encountering some of the later bosses was that this game, for whatever reason, loves death pits. For example, you can see on the boss fight that's on the screen right now, the little laser thingy. If you get hit by that or you get launched back there, you die. It's basically just instant death. Some of these moments were really annoying. It didn't ruin my experience. It was just annoying at the most. But it was fun because it was challenging. Despite me speeding through the game, it was a hard game, surprisingly. Which reminds me, we need to talk about the characters. The roster is as expected for any Sonic game. You got Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy, surprisingly. And also, Fang the Weasel is here. Fang the Sniper? I don't know, whatever his name is. And we have a newcomer in this game, Trip the Sungazer, who I really like. Their moveset is awesome. Speaking of movesets, the others have, the usual movesets. Sonic has the drop dash, the spin dash, all that kind of stuff. Tails has his flying, Knuckles has his gliding and climbing. Amy has her double jump, the usual easy mode, that kind of stuff. I sadly was stupid and didn't record any gameplay with the actual characters and decided to only use Trip. But if you've played any of those characters before in any classic Sonic game, they're basically the same here. Now, before we get into the final area of this video, I want to mention multiplayer. I honestly really love the multiplayer in this game, but it could use some improving. I mean, the robot customization's cool, the little mini games are cool, but I feel like there could have been more. This mode is just your standard party game, nothing else to it, and honestly, whenever I played through it, I got bored a little fast. Which is probably because I didn't have anybody to play with, so that's probably my issue. Other than that, I don't really have much to say about the multiplayer mode. So right now, let's get into the final boss. Now don't get me wrong, I loved the final boss, but I also didn't. While my second playthrough, I had a really fun time on the boss. The first playthrough was really tough. My main issue with it was it didn't really emphasize the use of the Chaos Emeralds. So I didn't really use them at all through the first playthrough. And that was causing me a lot of issues until I looked up some help. And then I found out you needed to use the emeralds. So that kind of helped there. Other than that, it was a cool boss fight. Definitely not the best, but it was pretty cool. Although something I really didn't like about it is after the start of the fight, it doesn't tell you where to hit them. I mean, it kind of does, but not really. All it really shows you is to hit the blue missiles. It doesn't tell you that you'll have to go through the back. Now again, I was stupid and didn't record any footage for this part, so you just either have to look it up or whenever you play. Other than literally everything else, this was a pretty cool boss fight. And honestly, I felt really rewarded whenever I beat it. Now, on to the very last part of the video. Sonic Superstars is a great game, to me at least. It does have its flaws, and they're really clear, but I think it was a really fun experience. But do I recommend you buy it? I do. But wait until it's on sale, if ever. Well, that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening to me ramble for almost 10 minutes, and I'll catch you on the next one.